Hey Yogi, Caroline here. I'm going to demo you the featured workout. It's a power flow that's going to help you practice to get into forearm stand. And it's also perfect if you have any wrist injury, sprain, anything like that, hence the splint. But I'm going to break down to you the poses and just the overall sequence. And this again is just going to help you practice to get into forearm stand. So here we go. Alright, so starting with the warm-up, we just start in child's pose. And this is where you just kind of figure out where your body wants to take you for this. Meaning, is your knees going to be together? Are your knees going to be out wide? You want to sink your hips to your heels. Anytime you can't do any poses, a block will always help. So if I can't sink my hips to my heels, I can prop myself up on the block and proceed that way. So you're just going to find your forehead to the mat. Here, figure it out. Once you're done here, you're going to do 10 normal breaths in and out through your nose. And then you're going to do 3 cleansing breaths. Inhale through your nose, exhale out your mouth. And then you're going to do 3 regular breaths. So this is where you can set an intention, set a mantra, or really just get in touch to how your body's feeling on how you need to approach this particular workout, this practice. And then as you come out of child's pose, we're going to stay on our forearms. So we'll be in a forearm tabletop position. So you'll stack your hips over your knees. And then from here, it's a cat-cow. So inhale, belly down, look up. Exhale, cat, navel into spine, round your upper back, tuck your chin into your chest. And doing the cat-cows 5 different times, so one round is, cow pose, and then cat. So that's 1, 2, and use your breath as you do that. Moving right along. Find a balancing forearm table, so you extend one leg out, and then bring your knee to your tricep. So we're as close as you can. So you might not be able to reach all the way here. So if you're here, that's fine. And then over time, you'll get more hip flexibility, and you'll keep going at that. So you'll do that 5 times each side, meaning each leg. Anything we do on your right side, you're going to definitely do on your left side. So after that, come into a half pigeon. So bring one knee in between your elbows and extend one leg out. And your extended leg wants to be aligned with your hips, so you don't want it too far one way or the other. So you can come onto your hands at any point in time of this workout, but the point is really getting the practice on our forearms to get used to it, to build strength in our shoulders and our chest, to be able to lift into forearm stand with our legs overhead. So you're chilling here for about 3 breaths, 3 to 5 breaths. Then we'll just kind of get more into hip mobility. So whatever knee is bent, you'll sink down into that hip. Bring the knee kind of parallel to your ankle that's on your bent knee here. And then my dog's in the way, but you're just going to take your knee down and up, sinking weight onto that bent knee hip. So you'll do that 5 times. Then just whip this leg around front for a hamstring stretch. So bring your foot into your inner thigh. And then just work it out. It doesn't have to be a deep stretch because this is the beginning. This is just the warm-up. So you can find whatever you need. If you need a strap, do that. And then just sink down into the stretch for about 3 breaths. And then you'll repeat on the other side. So if you did your right leg, then do your left leg, your knee bent in between your forearms, etc. All right, then we transition into dolphin pose. And dolphin's like a down dog, but it's on your forearms except for your hands. And the way I position, most of the time when I'm on my forearms, I like to do a volleyball hand set. And basically, that's like bending your fingers and then cupping your other fingers, bending those overlapping thumbs together. So just kind of like that is how, when I'm on my forearms, it just comes natural to me because I used to play volleyball. So there you go. So I'm going to be in that position with my hands pretty much throughout anytime I'm on my forearms. Tuck your toes underneath you, sink your hips, or push your hips up. And then the reality, most people will not be on to their heels, which I'm not. So just imagine you're sinking your heels down towards the mat, and it's okay if they don't touch. And then you just push your chest towards your thighs, really feeling a deep stretch into your shoulders. Starting out, you'll pedal your heels back and forth 10 times, and it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, just like that. And our vinyasa flow of this sequence, this practice, will stay on our forearms from Dolphin, and then we'll push forward to a forearm plank. Now, instead of upward facing dog, we're going to sink our hips all the way down into Sphinx pose. And I'm going to keep my hands the same. Push your chest forward, curl under your toes, come back to that forearm plank position, push it back into Dolphin. And during the warm-up series, you'll do that 5 times total. So the first time you're building each posture, so you're holding for about 3 breaths, and Dolphin, 3 breaths, forearm plank, 3 breaths Sphinx, coming back to forearm plank, maybe 2 breaths, coming back to Dolphin. Then you move that with your breath, so like on an exhale, you'll come to forearm plank, inhale Sphinx, exhale forearm plank, inhale Dolphin, and do 5 total. So that's the warm-up, and then we'll transition into our main flow, the main poses of the workout. And what we do is, this particular sequence is we'll start on one side, build it holding the postures for about 5 breaths. If they're a transitional type of pose, we'll hold it for 3. And we start to the front, work our way to the side, and then we'll eventually face the back. And we come back around and we kind of reverse out. And then we flow with our breath. So 1 breath, 1 movement, 1 breath, 1 pose, however you want to let that sink in. Then what we'll do is build the other side. So we'll start, if we started with our right, so then we'll start with our left, holding those postures. Again, 5 breaths, transitional, maybe 3. Going from the front to the side to the back. Working our way, reversing out. Then transition to 1 breath, 1 movement from the left side. So depending on how you feel or where you are in your journey or just injuries, whatever, it doesn't matter, just listen to your body. You can keep going. So meaning you can 1 breath, 1 movement, right. 1 breath, 1 movement, left. Feeling it a little bit more, do it again on each side. So you'll do 4 to 8 sets of that. So I'm about to break it down for you. So you'll be in your Dolphin. And then from Dolphin, you'll drop to your knees to half camel. So I'm going to bring my left hand to my left heel, thumb on the outside, fingers on the inside. I take my right arm and I kind of whip it around in front of me, push my chest up, bring my arm overhead, drop my head, push my hips forward. And then to do the other side, I'm going to reverse out of that, come back around, and then taking it to the other side. Right knee to heel, whipping my left arm up and around, dropping my head, pushing my hips forward, and then reversing out of that. So you'll do that for 3 breaths each. From there, curl under your toes, bring your hands behind you, interlace your fingers, push your knuckles down towards the earth to lift your chest. So this is just a stretch right here, holding it for 3 breaths. Then this is what I'm talking about, what you start on. So even the half camel, if you start here the first round, then when you build the other side, then you're going to start on this side. So just be mindful of where you're starting. So here I'm going to start with my right foot in front, just kind of a low lunge. Holding here just for 3 breaths and bring your hands to heart. Curl under your back toes, lift off your back knee, high crescent lunge here. Arms overhead, shoulders down and away. Square your hips to the front and make sure your knee is aligned with your ankle here. 5 breaths and then transition into warrior 2. So pivot your back heel down, toes are pointing to the side of your mat. Still in the lunge, arms to a T, gaze to the right, and still make sure your your knee is aligned with your ankle. It's okay for it to be back, you just don't want it to be forward too much. Figure it out for your body, breathe, make sure it feels right, it feels good for you. 5 breaths here, reversing your warrior, flip your front palm, bring your arm up and overhead, little to no weight in your back hand. And think about spiraling your chest towards the ceiling, gaze is up if that does not hurt your neck. Holding here for 3 breaths. Extended side angle, you're gonna reach, reach, reach. You can bring your elbow on top of your thigh or inside your knee, so just the first position. And then the other arm, so this is my left arm, up overhead. Try not to collapse in your chest. Again, you want to think of spiraling your chest towards the ceiling, gaze up if that does not hurt your neck. If it does, just keep a neutral gaze where it doesn't hurt your neck. 5 breaths here. Taking that top arm, bringing it down and around to pivot yourself to the side of your mat. For a halfway, lengthen your spine, and then exhale, wide-legged forward fold. Let your head hang heavy. Find what you need here with your hands. If you need an open chest, find what you need. And then you're staying here for 3 breaths. You'll inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, you're going to take it to the back. So I'm going to turn over my left shoulder because I started with my right foot in front. Bring my knee down, and you're doing the same thing. So you're just doing it on this side now. So I'm not going to get too into detail. You're holding it for the same breaths. So you'll be here, high crescent lunge, warrior 2, reverse, extended side angle, whipping it around to the side, halfway lift, fold, and now this time, halfway lift, bring your hands to your hips, flat spine brings you up. You're going to narrow your stance and then now pivot towards the front of your mat. So your legs are in a pyramid shape because we're going to go into halfway pyramid. So inhale, lift, and then exhale, just bring your upper body halfway, flat spine, feel it in your front hamstring here. Just breathing here for 5 breaths, transitioning into warrior 3. Bring your hands to your heart, bend your front knee to shift weight to your front leg, lift your back leg, which is my left, lift it off, flex or point, commit, drop that left hip down so not open just yet. Holding this pose for 5 breaths. Transition to half moon. Bring your arms to a T and then turn your chest and your hips to the side of your mat. Use a block for stability with the bottom hand here. Holding this for 5 breaths, and you're going to transition out of these poses in reverse order. So half moon to warrior 3, back to that halfway pyramid, coming back up. Pivot to the side, pivot to the back. Holding the same thing, those poses for the same amount of breath. So inhale, lift, exhale, pyramid, you'll hold for 5 breaths. Transition into warrior 3, hold for 5 breaths. Open up to half moon, holding for 5 breaths. Reversing out. So back to warrior 3, halfway pyramid, come up, pivot to the side. This time pivot to the front, bring the back leg with you, Drop down to Malasana, so heels in, toes out, and then sink your hips down. Push your elbows into your knee and find a lifted chest, flat spine. Now, when I say flat spine, it doesn't mean this. It just means no curve. So just pop it up like that. So you hold in Malasana for 3 to 5 breaths. Sink your booty down. Come all the way onto your back and lift your hips. So shoulder stand, you're gonna lift your hips, bring your hands to your low back. Your legs are lifted here to get an inversion filling. Holding this for 3 breaths. Coming to plow, bringing your feet overhead, drop your toes down. Holding for 3 breaths. Dead bug, bend your knee toward your ears. Holding for 3 breaths, rocking and rolling, and then doing a vinyasa flow, whether on your hands or if you choose to do the whole practice onto your forearms. Now, I started things with my right side. So again, I build those postures, and then I flow those postures. Then bring your heart rate down, build those postures starting with your left, so meaning after I do my half count, camel, toe squat, start with your left foot, and you just do this whole process, coming all the way. I'm just showing you a little demo. And then, boom. See, it's the same setup. And then you choose how much reps that you want to do after you build and flow the postures on each side. All right, so that's totally up to you. So that's the main poses. After the main poses, we get right into core, and it is sequenced to a specific song. So it's Stay by Kid Laroi and Justin Bieber. So during the intro of the song, which is like essentially, I guess, chorus 1, but before he starts singing, you'll just hold your high boat. You can bring your hands to your heart or your hands out to your side. Or if that's too much, you bring your feet down. Either way, once you start singing, then you're just going to do toe taps. So keep your knees together as you do that. Then once the first verse hits, you'll come onto your forearms. Fingers are pointing towards the top of your mat. Extend your legs and then scissor down and then scissor up. And you'll keep doing that. Now, wherever you are after the first verse is complete, whether it's your legs are up or down, in the first, or I guess technically second chorus, depending on how you look at it, but the next chorus, you'll go from high boat to low boat. So high boat, hold 3, 2, 1, low boat, hold 3, 2, 1, high boat, hold for 3, low boat, hold for 3. You'll keep doing that. Then on the next verse, you'll make your way to forearm plank. So holding your forearm plank for 5 seconds, transition into side plank. So I'm going to come onto my left forearm, bring my right arm overhead, elbow to knee. You're just going to crunch it in for 5 times, and then you'll reverse the other way. So I'm going to bring my right forearm down, extend my left arm, crunch. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come back to forearm plank, and you're holding it. Holding it until the last chord it kicks off. You're going to hear the beat drop because it starts going slow. And then once the tempo picks up, you're going to just go to dolphin, to forearm plank, and you'll just finish it out doing it like that. Yes. So it's all about your core. You're only as strong as your core, and you definitely need to build that in order to perform forearm stand. Once the core is complete, then we get into the pinnacle posture, the forearm. So we do little things to kind of stretch things out, get our breath together, prepare for it, and then you have your forearm stand pose. So once we're done with core, you're just gonna catch your breath in the Sphinx pose. So we've already been here before, but this, just catch your breath. You don't wanna keep going with this momentum. Once we've done the main poses in the core, kind of bring our heart rate down a little bit. So from Sphinx pose, we get more into opening our spine just a little bit more to make sure we're open up and prepared for this. So we'll just transition into that forearm tabletop position. And we'll get into tiger pose on our forearms. So you'll extend one leg out, and I'm extending my left leg out, reaching around my right hand, bend your extended leg knee, grab the top of your foot, kick into your hand. You'll hold here for about 5 breaths, and you'll do the other side. Then into bound locust, sink your hips down, come all the way down onto the mat, chest included, chin on the mat. Bring your feet together, arms behind you, interlace, just like in the toe squat variation we did in our main flow. And now as you lift, you'll try to lift your chest, lift your legs, and push your knuckles towards the back of your mat, towards your feet. You'll hold this here for 5 breaths. Come down, reverse Savasana. Bring one ear to the mat. Breathe, catch your breath. Then bring your chin to the mat. Floor bow, bend both knees. Grab the top of your feet, pinky edge side. And from here, you'll inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, kick into the mat. And you'll keep going with that movement for 5 to 8 total breaths. Carefully releasing your thighs to the mat, chest, then chin. Release your feet. Reverse Savasana, the other way. Cool. And then you're now more and more prepared. So lift yourself off the mat. You can use your hands or your forearms. Let me just make sure, yeah. So to prep, you can do some one-legged dolphins. So from dolphin pose, you just lift one leg and then the other about 8 times. And if you're not ready, it's totally okay. Check out like my Instagram. I'm posting modifications and variations too. Also, make sure you're looking at all these resources on my website. It's all there for you. So you can use a wall if you're not quite ready with your balance in this pose, because it takes a lot of time to practice. But if you are ready, you would now go into forearm stand. So make sure you're ready. Use props and modifications as much as you can. And I'm not even sure if I can talk while doing this, so here we go. So see how I was like really wobbly at first, and then I got it together by pressing my forearms and my elbows into the mat. So make sure you're comfortable with that. I've been practicing this for quite some time throughout my workout journey, so like I'm comfortable and strong enough in my shoulders and know my body enough, like that little tweak didn't do anything for me, but it could do something major for you, so just be careful. And now we just pull down, we stretch it all out. So stretching our shoulders again, we're gonna come back to the Sphinx pose. You'll hold here for about 3 to 5 breaths. And then threading the needle, extend one arm out, and then just thread that arm underneath. Press your shoulder down, feels so good. Then try to press your forehead down onto the mat. Holding for 5 breaths, and then crisscross arms. So whatever arm is extended out, you'll bring it in front of the other one in a crisscross way here. And you sink down until you're stretching, you feel it. So you might even just be up here. It's totally fine. So just know that. Whatever your body is telling you, it's fine and you need to listen to it. So holding here for 5 breaths, and then shoulder roll type stretch, or some people call it well pose. You'll just extend one arm out to the side, press into the other hand, and then just roll towards that shoulder, getting a nice stretch here. Your head's down, holding here for 5 breaths. Coming back to center, and then we do that all on the other side. Getting into our hips, again, you can continuously stay on your forearm, especially if you have to, if you have an injury or whatever the case is. But lizard pose, you'll just step your left foot outside of your left hand, left elbow, whichever, staying onto your forearms, but if that's too much, do come onto your hands or your fingertips or a block or a bolster or whatever the case is. And then you can hold here like 5 to 8 breaths, whatever feels good. So transitioning out of lizard, you just go into half splits, and you can keep your hands where they are, come onto your fingertips. You're extending that leg that was bent and then just sinking your hips down. Now don't worry about proper alignment here, just get a good stretch in. So think of this part, this power flow part, as like the yin part portion, and you're just releasing, getting a deep stretch. So you'll hold here for about 3 breaths, and you'll do all of that on the other side. You'll end it with reverse savasana, left ear down, and then right ear down, about 5 breaths or so. And then flip over to final savasana and just stay as long as you can, as long as your body wants you to, and just breathe, close your eyes. Alright, so that's the breakdown just of the featured workout, the poses, how you transition into them, how you would kind of do the sequence, how you should approach it, and it's just all about practice. So this sequence was literally built to practice getting your body ready for strength, the flexibility portion, the balance, and the inversion portion of forearm stand. So it hits all those components of what you need to do in order to be able to perform this pose. But just if you do it one time, it's not going to be all of a sudden you can do it. It takes practice, and it's different for everyone and everybody because we come from different backgrounds, different injuries, different fitness styles. So just be patient with yourself and you'll be able to do it. So all this stuff though, in order to achieve forearm stand is free, all on my website. You can book private lessons with me. If you really want to target yourself, I can build you different yoga flows, workout plans to accomplish your yoga and fitness goals. So thank you for taking the time to watch, and more importantly, go ahead and thank yourself for taking the time to even learn how to do something great and healthy for yourself. And there's all kinds of ways for you to contact me: email, my website, all my social media platforms. I'm here for you, and peace out.